My name is Mills. I'm a secret agent. I work for MI6 and my number is number 6. We interrupt this documentary for a housekeeping moment. What British agent, what would he smoke? A pipe, of course. And this one is the Pipe Club of London 50th anniversary 2020 edition with a silver band, made in Italy from Mastro di Paia. An excellent pipe, I must say. And what would a British agent smoke in his pipe? Well, of course, there's only one real choice, isn't there? Dunhill. Navy Rolls. Shall we open it? It's an unopened tin. Yes, I think we will. Well, if you're a fan of Patrick McGoohan, the late Patrick McGoohan, a fantastic actor, and he was famous for this series, The Prisoner, 1967, and it was way ahead of its time. Even in the 60s, when you had kind of weird series or strange films, this series was something else. And a lot of acting schools and university drama departments have made documentaries and whole courses of their teaching about how to make a series and what happened in this amazing series. So of course in half an hour you can not make a real tribute to this fantastic series, but I will summarize what I think about it, and I've watched a number of documentaries, interviews with Patrick McGoohan about this series. And when it came out in 1967, he had a press conference, and he was behind bars, dressed very strangely, and everyone thought this is very strange, and they asked him, okay, you tell us what it's about, and he immediately said, well, you tell me what you think about it. Seen the first episode, what do you think about it? And he always did that when people asked what is it about, what was going on, what was the last episode about, because it created almost a scandal that the series was stopped, and nobody really understood immediately what the last episode was about. It was bizarre. So my take on this is there are many levels to understand The Prisoner, and the first one is a secret agent resigns and his bosses don't like that. They want to know what's going on, and they take him to an island and won't let him out until he tells them the information.
Where am I? In the village. What do you want? Information. Whose side are you on? That would be telling. We want information. Information.
The information. And the whole series is then about his attempts to escape and understand who is number one, who is running this prison island, what is going on. The village, of course, was Portmeirion in North Wales, and it was a fantastic village in Italianesque style of architecture, and you could make 2 videos about just that village, and it was a perfect setting for this series. And you'll see some clips here. And that boat in the harbour is made out of concrete. It's not a real boat. And that was, all these features were used in the episodes of The Prisoner. So the next level to understand is that a man can be imprisoned by himself. By refusing to discuss his reasons for resignation and his anger at MI6, he couldn't have a way out. Perhaps he suspected when he gave the information they would just bump him off or something like that. But that was one bar of the prison. And the series used very cleverly ideas from the previous series, which was the Danger Man, or the Secret Agent, in the American market in the early 60s. Partly a black and white series, but it made McGoohan very famous, just that previous series. And when it ended, Lou Grade, the big producer in Britain, wanted a sequel, and he said, here's £2 million, today it's £20 million, make a sequel, Patrick McGoohan, and you're in charge. And Patrick McGoohan was the producer, was the director of lots of the series, and the star of the series, and really took the toll on him. And a lot of actors and interviews, they actually said it was very stressful, because Portmeirion was rented just for a certain period, and then they had to get out, let the tourists in, and everything was under high pressure. And Patrick McGoohan had to come up the ideas for every series, and he used some concepts of the Danger Man series and referred back to that. He never admitted that the character in The Prisoner was John Drake, the Danger Man from the previous series. He said not necessarily, it could be any secret agent or any person. And we go to level 3 of the understanding. This is a parody of all men and women that could be imprisoned by their circumstances in a company, for example, or you're sent to Coventry, or you're sent to an outside office because you didn't cooperate with the boys at the top. And a lot of people can be in a similar situation, in a place they don't really want to be, but they can't escape. And the 4th level for me is understanding that your own decisions and your own behavior can lead to this imprisonment. Maybe morally right, but it's part of the circumstances. And the last episode, I mentioned the last episode, which is called Fallout, and Patrick McGoohan went to Lou Grade and said, I don't know how to end this series, and he finally came up with the idea of confronting number 1 and finding number 1, and of course number 1 was himself. unmasked. And everyone was shocked, what is going on? But that was the fourth level of understanding, part the orchestration of this situation. What happened to him was his own creating. Now the last episode, Fallout, was very bizarre. It kind of showed disintegration of the village, kind of revolution, very many parodies, the judge and the jury, and finally scenes of London with McGowan there. Of course the killer rover was this huge balloon, and everyone was wowed by that, and it was basically a decision out of desperation. They had a kind of mechanical machine robot which didn't work and fell apart, and McGowan was talking with one of his producers and saying, what can we do? We have a sort of a killer policeman in the village, and we have to invent something. And he looked up and saw a weather balloon. And isn't that ironic today? The Chinese spy balloons, we are fearful of them, and the weather balloon, the evil rover, was in this series. It was way ahead of its time, by chance perhaps, but actually the rover was quite scary and suffocated its victims. Couldn't be popped with a knife or anything like that, so it was a brilliant idea.
Information. You won't get it. By hook or by crook, we will. Who are you? The new number 2. Who is number 1? You are number 6. I am not a number. I am a free man.
Now, of course, on the fourth level, knowing yourself is the adversary, perhaps in certain situations. There was a series, there was an episode, my favourite one, which is Schizoid Man. And Patrick McGowan has to fight a double of himself, and you really wonder how this is going to end, because the one in the white jacket with black fringes, his double is better than him in certain things like fencing and kosher, that sport on trampolines that they invented for this series. And finally, of course, he outwitted his adversary, and that was also a tip in life. You have to actually outwit yourself to maybe get out of these situations or avoid them in the first place. As you can imagine, there are a lot of videos about The Prisoner in YouTube, so I've made a playlist, and that is the main link below for your reference. So now I have to go to my cellar where I can smoke my lovely pipe, Navy rolls. Are you ready? Did you hear that? And here we are. It's a large tin, but it's 50 grams. I'm pleased to say the vacuum was still good after 6 years, and those are the navy rolls. Let's put one in the pipe and smoke it. Isn't it funny when you try a new tobacco and you love it in 1 second when you start to smoke it, and we're going to be good friends. It's a beautiful, rich tobacco. Anyway, my conclusion for the prisoner. There's one mystery that he never revealed in the series, why he did resign. In my view, that question is self-answering, because in MI6 you never resign, you never leave MI6. Do you? Be seeing you.